All right, everybody, we are live. What is up? Week 2 NFL season. Myself, Matt Modi, joined by my good friend Andrew Kim, aka the Parlay Doc. I love how I say my good friend, even though we've literally never met in person. But hey, internet friends count all the same. Andrew, how are you?
Good, man. Hey, man. I'm glad to be your internet friend. Yeah, I mean, look, man, in this day and age, I mean, I think we know some of our coworkers. I have like a bunch of nice coworkers at my job that I've never met in person at this point because I do total 100% remote work. So we're
Yeah,
work buddies, but I've never met them in person.
it's
So
just funny how
it's kind of
it's
how it
funny.
works now. Yeah.
Yeah, just especially like the doing like content and stuff. Everybody's just around the world in different places.
Yeah.
So it's just funny how that works out. But regardless, what we're going to be doing today, pretty much the same format as last week. We will give out one pick for each game specifically on today, Sunday's slate. We will end the live stream with a degen parlay. Of course, got to get some degeneracy out there. As always, tail responsibly. And also, what we're going to do is for those of you that are joining us and with us the entire live stream, if you stay till the end and ride the parlay with us, Andrew Kim will give you some free sports cards.
Yeah, just to
And
spice it up, guys, we want
yeah,
to support you guys. We know that we're not some huge, podcast show like Action Network or ESPN, obviously. So the fact that you're going to sacrifice and spend, close to 30, 40 minutes with us on a Sunday morning, regardless of if the parlay hits or not, we're going to give away someone who sticks with us through the end of the show, a few giveaways. We're going to send you out this nice Josh Allen Zenith Class President card that I'll send you in this nice one-touch case as well. So there you go. Also going to send you a CMC Christian McCaffrey card and a throwback, my personal, because I'm in Chicago, Michael Jordan. A nice
wow.
little, we're going to even send you a graded slab of this. So yeah, maybe the score is not the highest, but you know what? It's a free card of a slab of Michael Jordan with one of his iconic moments when they won their first title. So all for free. And then once we pick the winner, you just got to send Matt your shipping info and name, and then I'll have it shipped out to you with free shipping, guys. So free 99 for 3 nice cards to show you some love for joining our show today.
Yeah, everybody thank Andrew. Very nice. Yeah, all you got to do is just stay till the end. The parlay doesn't even need to hit. I think what we're going to do to make sure that we actually know people stay till the end, we'll give out some sort of phrase that you just have to DM me. And whatever phrase I give out at the very end of the show, just DM me that as proof that you stayed. That will be your way to enter into the giveaway. And then there's one last thing I was going to say. Lost my train of thought. So we can just get right into it. If it's important, it'll come back to me. The first game that I have to cover here is the Packers versus Falcons. Kind of some interesting line movement on this one.
Yeah.
It's gone from I think the Packers were favored by 2.5, and then it swung all the way to the Falcons favored by 2.5. I'm actually not 100% sure where it closed as of right now. So just thought that was interesting. But anyways, what do you got for us for this game?
Oh, so here's how I did last week, just to be transparent, guys. So I know I took this weird shotgun approach where I did like $10 or $20 at most on most of my bets. So I had 38 bets last week. Oh my God. It was so dizzying, but I
That's
did it.
awesome.
I put it in the odds jam tracker, which I'm just using for tracking purposes to
Sure.
separate from my non-show bets. So out of the 38, I went on face value, 14 and 24 sounds gross, but $47 profit because we threw in enough plus money play. So even though I went 14 and 24, $47 profit. My best category was touchdown scores. My worst were the spreads. I'm going to be a little bit more careful on spreads this week. So Packers and Falcons, I'm not going to bet anything on the spread, but I'm leaning Falcons actually because I think the Packers are getting overvalued. Even though they destroyed my Bears, I actually don't think it was like a lopsided game. The Bears were still kind of in it throughout the whole thing, despite the fact that the Bears shot themselves in the foot 18 times and decided it was smart to just throw laterally all game long instead of maybe going forwards, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, I think the Falcons actually have a much better secondary than the Bears do. So I think it's going to be a little bit tougher for Jordan Love to just move up and down the field. So I think it's going to be an ugly grind of a game, and I think an ugly grind plays into the Falcons what they want to do. They just want to run. So I'm going to stay away from this spread, but if I had to, I would probably go Falcons just because, if they're at home, I think a grinded out game is what they want to do. So I didn't put much on this. I'm so frustrated by Musgrave. He caught that deep ball
I know. And
and
it
he
didn't score. I
and he
know.
and he stumbled and he stumbled. So
And then they also had another deep throw that Jordan Love just missed him.
I know.
It's
Two,
it's
yeah, two.
brutal.
And
Yeah.
so you know what? I'm going to go to the well one more time because I think the wideouts are going to be a little bit tougher for them today. And if I don't even know, I think Aaron Jones, he's still in question. It might just be Dylan, right? So
I think he's out. I think Aaron
yeah,
Jones is out.
I think he's out. So you're really talking about Dylan, and I think the wide receivers are going to have a tougher time. So I'm going to dip into the Musgrave well one more time, and if he doesn't get it today, I'm done. But I think they're going to have to go underneath a little bit for some underneath looks. So Musgrave, anytime touchdown, plus 290 on FanDuel. You might be able to shop around. Maybe it's a little better elsewhere. And then you know what, guys? I'm just going to do it again. It's chalk, but it worked. And I got so upset that we lost the plus 700, I think, or plus
I know.
900 because Algier came in to vulture a
Yeah.
bunch of touchdowns. But I'm going to go one more time with Bijan again to score because it's either going to be him or Tyler. They're going to go in. So $25 on Musgrave, $25 on Bijan to score. Those are my only two plays in the game. So
Yeah, I like it. I also have Bijan anytime touchdown. I know that reports came out literally just this morning that they're going to split the workload with Algier and Bijan. Both of them scored last week. Both of them could easily score again this week.
yes,
And I just
exactly.
think that Bijan is just too good to keep off the field more than he was last week. Like last week, he took 65% of the snaps. He had 35% of the targets, significantly more than Algier. Algier had more carries, and he also had the goal line carries, which is why this is a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel like you just got to let talent win out. And Bijan just showed literally on that one touchdown run how amazing. And that was his first game. Amazing player. He's best offered at plus 120 to score. That's at Barstool and Betfred.
Barstool, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Bijan Robinson to score. He was part of my Tater Time picks that I have for today. I had 5 total anytime touchdowns today. They're all plus money. So just hopefully we can get a couple of those to cash. All right. So we're both on Bijan. You're on Musgrave as well.
Yep.
Next game, Raiders versus Bills. I'll go first here. I'm taking the Bills minus 7.5. I got this at minus 104 at Sport Trade, which is an incredible price. I'm not sure. The line's been moving around. I'm not sure where it's best offered as of right now. I think it's still at minus 7.5. But if you're in New Jersey and Colorado, definitely recommend downloading Sport Trade because they consistently have the least amount of juice. But regardless, I feel like it's a little bit scary backing the Bills after such a brutal loss last week. But I just really can't get there with the Raiders. Like Adams is banged up. He's going to play, but he's banged up. Jacoby Myers is out. And we all get that Josh Allen is a bozo, but the Jets defense is a different level than this Raiders defense he's going to be playing. So those YOLO balls might actually resort into touchdowns, unlike turnovers last week.
Exactly.
So give me the Bills. I think this is a get right game, minus 7.5. I'm riding.
Nothing much to add. I mean, look, it was atrocious. Okay. But you know what? It was atrocious for a reason. I mean, the Jets D, they're solid. They're amazing. They're going to be probably elite, honestly. So I've no problem backing the Bills. Now, I would never bet anything that's not available to you. So I saved my boost for this because I love the Bills here. I love them for a bounce back game. They're better in every facet of the game, guys. I don't care. Every facet from coaching to offense to defense that they should roll. Okay. So if you're paranoid, and I don't blame you for being paranoid, like I am a little bit, DraftKings, popular sports book. So this is available to all of you. If you saved your boost, I'm going to boost the Bills. So same angle, just with the boost, but I'm going to do Bills minus 6.5 with the DK boost of 50% plus 103, and I'm maxing it out. So this is my heaviest bet of the entire day. Nothing else is going to be close. $100, Bills minus 6.5 at plus 103. That's all I got. I'm not even going to mess around with props. I just want the Bills to roll today.
Yeah, that's really good. Getting that, I mean, using the boost to get 6.5 for plus money is really good. The one thing I was going to say at the beginning that I now remember, if you have any questions for us, just put it in the chat. Try to keep it topical to the game that we're talking about. And then if you have anything left over, we can get into it after we talk about the last game, but definitely want to make sure we answer any questions that anybody has. So with that out of the way, next game, Ravens versus Bengals. What do you got for me?
Oh God, I'm not betting on this, but I'm going to pick Bengals. To cover the spread -3 is what I looked at it last. I mean, the only reason is, look, I mean, that was horrific. I know the calf thing is a worry with his mobility, but I just don't think the Bengals can afford to go 0-2 to start off the season when they're one of the, Super Bowl hopes. Their Burrow is like 12-4 against the spread. And I know historical facts or whatever, but you know what? I think it speaks to he's the type of quarterback that wants to get it right, right? He's got that killer instinct. He does want to win. So 12-4 against the spread after a loss. So it's a lean. So I think right now, though, with all, I mean, God, how many times can the Ravens just get banged up?
I know it's every year. It's every year. It's crazy.
Every year. So if there's one thing, I think it's going to be an ugly game. I don't think it's going to be a fun one to watch visually, but I'm just going to roll with Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown scorer. I just think, even in an ugly game, when the Bengals are desperate to win, they're going to go to their bread and butter. And whether it's a short pass, a bomb, or some kind of weird sweep, he's going to find his way into the end zone, especially when there's all these question marks with all the injuries on the Ravens side. So I'm just going to roll chalk. I don't care. Jamar Chase to score, basically. That's going to be my favorite prop of the game for that one.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. I actually went opposite of you. I went the Ravens money line. It's best offered at +158 at Caesars. Last year, the Bengals started 0-2. And game one, Joe Burrow turned it over 5 times. They lost in overtime to the Steelers. Their offense looked pitiful. The next week, they were heavy favorites against the Cowboys in their first game without Dak Prescott. And they lost pretty handily. Like, it wasn't really that close. So I don't necessarily buy into the narrative that, quote unquote, the Bengals can't start 2-0. They literally did it last year. And similar to you, like, just because it happened last year doesn't mean it's going to happen again. So you have to take the historical stuff, like you said, with a grain of salt. But I just see this being another situation where the Bengals start slow, just like last year. Last year, it was their offensive line took forever to gel, and their play calling was a little weird. This year, it's kind of the same thing. Like, their offensive line got annihilated by the Browns last week, and the Ravens aren't quite as good as the Browns, of course. They don't have Myles Garrett, the high-end talent, but it's still a good defense who they played the Bengals tough last year. I think people forget because the Bengals knocked them out in the playoffs, but A, that was without Lamar Jackson. And B, for those of you that remember the game was tied in the fourth quarter. The Ravens had the ball at the 1-yard line, literally about to score. And then their quarterback fumbles. The Bengals return that fumble for a touchdown, literally a 14-point swing. So I just have more faith in the Ravens than I do the Bengals, especially at the beginning of the year. Like, Joe Burrow's never played in a preseason in his career, and he's always started slow. So this is one of my underdog picks. I think I had 4 underdog picks for today. This was one of them, Ravens money line. I get it. It's a little bit scary because, like you mentioned, they're banged up and the Bengals are at home. So maybe I'm just being stubborn here, but I'm riding with the Ravens.
Yeah, no, that's why for me it was a stay away. I don't think you're right. I mean, I think it's a coin flip. I mean, there's so many concerns on both sides that I mean, who's to say? Everyone's guessing here at this point. So
yeah, I mean, like, it's week 2. Like, week 1 is wacky, and then week 2 you never know what's real from week 1. So, anyways, all right, next game, Seahawks versus Lions. So I actually am going to have 2 plays here. I have another one of my underdog picks was Seattle money line, and then another one of my touchdown picks on Tater Time was Jahmyr Gibbs. Seahawks are +190 at both Sport Trade and FanDuel. Gibbs to score is +135 at FanDuel. I'm going to be stubborn, and I'm going to still think that the Lions aren't as good as everyone's making them out to be. Like, it was impressive beating the Chiefs at home on opening night, but the way they won wasn't that impressive. Like, what's their formula? Have Kadarius Toney drop 6 passes, one of them that converts directly to a pick 6. Like, if that's just a normal incompletion, the Lions probably don't win. So I still have faith in the Seahawks. They're a well-coached team. I know that their tackles are banged up and their secondary's banged up. That's just classic Seattle. I also just think that they're kind of just gamers, and I'm not ready to just trust that the Lions are going to start the season 2-0 when every other year under Dan Campbell, they've started slow. And just because they won last week, I'm not necessarily thinking that, oh, they're good, they're back, whatever. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, again, I had him last week. This is probably another form of me being stubborn, but similar to like the Bijan Robinson thing, you just have to let talent win out. And Jahmyr Gibbs clearly showed that he just moves differently. He's like one
Oh,
of those players when you watch, oh, that
he
guy's
looks
different.
dynamic. I mean,
He's
he looks
amazing.
dynamic. I
He's
was just
so,
like, he just
yeah,
needs more touches. Just eventually, as the season progresses, you're going to see the carries from Monty go down. Even when injuries are done and you get your full roster back, he's the future of their running back room. I mean,
yeah.
so
And
it's
Monty, like if you just want to eat up carries, and it's fine. Like
yeah,
he's
exactly.
durable. You're not worried about him breaking down as much. But he ran for like barely 3 yards a carry last week
Pretty
against the
much.
Chiefs, and then Jameer Gibbs had a a, a couple just electric runs. So I feel like they're going to give Gibbs more work. Dan Campbell even said that they kind of wanted to ease him in his first game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the risk with this one is if it does turn into a blowout, they're probably just going to feed Dave Montgomery a million times. But
Yeah.
if my prediction of the Seahawks at least can keep it close, maybe not win straight up, but keep it close, then I think they're going to have to use Gibbs as a weapon. And plus 135, I just think that the value there is really good. So those are my two picks: Seahawks money line, Gibbs touchdown. What do you got?
Yeah, on the spread, I'm opposite. I think
Okay.
I almost think, yeah, I agree that I love Pete Carroll. I mean, I was on the Seahawks last week, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's concerning how they perform. They're having some injuries of their own as well. So, I'm actually going to go Lions minus 4.5. I'm
Okay.
only putting $25 on it, minus 110 on FanDuel. So I like them to come out just fired up, at home. So I'm going to go with them. I'm actually going to go with a defensive prop. It's a little bit juiced, and there are some options, but I'm going to go with the juiced option. Aiden Hutchinson over half a sack, minus 130.
Okay.
At Bet Rivers. And I think he's just got a motor, and
Yeah.
with how much he's just going to be coming after it today at home, I think he's going to be amped up. I'll take that, even though it's minus 130. If you don't want to pay the juice, you can be a little bit riskier, and you could do 0.75 sacks at DraftKings, but you're only getting minus 125. I don't know if that's worth it.
No, that's definitely not.
So that's why I'm going to take the half a sack, and I am going to put 50 on that sucker. So that's going to be one of my second largest bets. I'm a huge fan of Aiden Hutchinson. And then for touchdown, all the same reasons, I'm doing Gibbs anytime. So it looks like we independently picked Gibbs because I think both of us the eye test shows you he is the most dynamic player. I mean, on the running back roster at least. So yeah.
Yeah. And they have a good offensive line. So yeah, no, I get I get the thing with the Lions. Again, I'm probably just being stubborn. Next up, we got Colts versus Texans. You can go first on this one. What do you got?
Oh my God. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why you'd want to bet on this game unless you want to torture yourself, I guess.
Or you're a fan. Yeah, who knows?
Or you're a fan, I guess. So to not be a downer here, I actually threw something not with the highest confidence, but I just did it because I want to put something on the game to cheer with everyone with. So let me look it up real fast. So I put good Lord. I'm warning you guys. This is one of those I'm going to regret this. Josh Downs anytime touchdown score.
I like it.
Plus 490.
The value is very good
on FanDuel. Because you know what? I have no goddamn clue. Both teams are just a wreck already. And it's weak. So I'm just going to go Josh Downs for someone who's feasibly might get some reps to just like, let's see who we want to keep in the future. Literally, I have no other rationale that Josh Downs might get some reps in the red zone. That let's go for a plus 490. I'm going to go careful on this one. Literally just $20 on this one. So.
I like it. It's actually plus 500 now.
Oh, I thought it would go the other way, but
yeah, I like it. So. I hadn't thought about that myself. I literally, as you were talking, I put $25 on it, like to win a little over a unit. I like it. I mean, he's a rookie. I always love the rookie quarterback and rookie wide receiver connection because I feel like they kind of just gel together.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that he's like basically their other starting receiver opposite Michael Pittman. And if Pittman gets the Derek Stingley treatment, maybe I like it. And I think for plus 500, I definitely think that there's not a lot you could talk me out of that plus 500 odds. You know what I mean? Like you're already getting like a baked in 15% win percentage or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, on this one had the Colts money line. It's at even money, exactly plus 100 at Sport Trade. I think it's like minus 102 at the other books. I just think that, so the Texans, I guess that's literally, I locked this in an hour ago. It already moved to now it's best offered minus 108 at FanDuel. But anyways, Texans are without their starting left and right tackle. CJ Stroud he's going to play, but he's hurt with the shoulder injury.
Shoulder question. Yep.
I think that the Colts have a better defense than people give them credit for. Like, I thought for most of that game against the Jags, the defense looked pretty good, and they kind of just lost it at the end with like some garbage time stuff. I thought Anthony Richardson looked good. I like the coaching staff on the Colts. Like, I like Shane Steichen. I think he's a good coach. So I went with Colts money line. I'm not going to pretend that I'm super confident in this one, but I do like the Colts to win straight up. Eric, Catherine, loyal watcher / listener, what's up? If you have any questions, let us know. All right, next game. This is going to be a good one. Probably the best game of the 1 p.m. slate. Chiefs, Jaguars. I'm going to go with Chiefs -3. It's at -115 odds at Betfred, excuse me. It's most other books have it at 3.5, and I wouldn't touch 3.5. That getting that key number at -3 is important.
Yeah.
But here's what it is. Kelsey's back. Chris Jones is back. The Chiefs have historically been dynamite in September. I already talked about why I thought their loss or the Lions win wasn't actually that impressive. I came out of that more impressed with the Chiefs because the Lions only scored 2 offensive touchdowns, and that was without their best defensive player. Like, I think the Chiefs defense could be closer to above average than the train wreck that they normally are, which is scary if that ends up being the case. I don't think that the Chiefs are going to give as much work to Tony and Sky Moore, who were horrible in week 1, just waste of space.
That was pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. So
yeah.
I do like the Jags, and I'm high on them this year. I just think that, like, in week 2, I think that they're not quite going to be there. I don't trust their defense. So I like the Chiefs -3 in this one. Again, I wouldn't touch 3.5. I honestly, at 3.5, I don't hate getting the Jags. But again, that 3 is a very important number. So I don't hate the fact that he got Jags 3.5, but I'm riding with the Chiefs -3. What do you got?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game, but I went Chiefs -3. I wasn't as impressed by the Jags. I wasn't as down on the Chiefs, like you were saying. And I think, now that you have a few players back that are key on both sides, I mean, I'm rolling with Chiefs -3 for the same reasons. So the other props that I have on this, this is one of my highlights from last week. I was right about Calvin Ridley, right? So forget the rust factor. He was sharp. Again, so close to getting the 2 TD prop that I was, put out there. So
I know.
So a couple angles I'm going to go with that are related to Ridley. Okay. So, yes, Kelsey's back. So I don't blame you for being like, this is stupid, but I am going to put $25 on Calvin Ridley, most receiving yards +280, because I think you could do it both ways. If you like the Jags to win this, then he's going to need to produce. If they're losing and they have a negative game script in the second half, especially fourth quarter, you're going to get garbage yards. So they're the top 2 right now. It's Kelsey at like +200, and then you get Ridley at +280. I'll roll with the +280, $25, most receiving yards in the game. Second one related to Ridley is Christian Kirk. Clunker, right? But now that everyone's going to be focused on Ridley, I think you're going to get a little cheap underneath stuff, some cheap stuff in the slot. So I don't mind Christian Kirk. And if you look last year, he actually did well in the Chiefs games against the Chiefs. So right now, you can find it ranging, depending on the juice you want to pay, anywhere from like 41.5 to 43.5. I would play it only up to like 42.5 is my opinion, if you could find that still. I had a boost on Bet Rivers. So again, if you have Bet Rivers, you have this available too. It's a cheap $25 boost, but I'm not betting more than that. $25, Christian Kirk, over 39.5 with the boost is -115. So like I said, I played up to 42.5. So I got that, Ridley for most receiving, and Chiefs -3.
Cool. I also have one that I forgot to mention. Caesars does the promo on you can boost first touchdown score. I took Kelsey for the first touchdown. It's +440. Caesars is annoying. It doesn't tell you what it's boosted to, but the max you can put on it is 50, so that's what I did. It's 50 to win.
They don't tell you what it's boosted to?
They give you it's boosted 25%, but it doesn't tell you the odds, which is annoying. Like I could do the math if I cared enough, but I don't. $50 to win 325 is what it is with the boost included. It's first game back. They're probably going to try and get him involved. I thought that was, for not bad value there. All right, next,
Kelsey,
yeah, exactly. All right, next one. We got your Bears versus the Bucks. I will let you go first. What do you got?
Oh my God, my Bears versus the Bucks. I hate to say it, but I probably lean Bucks. God, it's just. I'm sorry, but my Bears, I'm going to root for my Bears emotionally, but I'm just telling you, the Bears were ranked dead last in almost every metric on offense last season, minus the run. Okay. Minus the run. Problem is
They came out not running.
They
Like what?
they came out not running. The Bucks are still going to be halfway decent at stuffing the run. So you're
Yeah.
gonna have to pass. And it was not encouraging that, we were just throwing laterally. There were almost no I'm not even talking about deep shots. Like we weren't even taking intermediate shots last week. And I know like people were very, down on Chase Claypool because he wasn't even blocking. And so he did nothing. He didn't block. He didn't catch. So I don't know. All this talk about how we're getting him more weapons. Like I just didn't see any of it. I don't think it's gonna be easy against the Bulls defense. So I'd lean Bucks barely. I'd also say the total is so low, but if you want to alt under this, like tease it up and alt under it as a parlay piece, I think you're good there. The only thing, the only other thing I might do is I might take Justin Fields over on passing, just because at least in Chicago, even though it's a scary number, we hit it last week. We barely hit it in garbage time. There's so much of an outcry, and not that the public influences people, but like everyone's like, if you don't pass, this whole fan base is going to crucify you. So it's so low and so scary, but I'm thinking about it. I don't know. It's not an official play. I might go with the Justin Fields over on passing just because they're going to probably be losing and need to catch up. But minus that, Bucks spread. That's all I got. Nothing
Yeah,
else.
I'm with you. I had no idea what to expect from this game.
Garbage game.
It's a garbage game. It's probably the worst. I mean, there's a lot of bad games today. This one's definitely up there. I really have you have to think that the Bears are going to have a smarter game plan. Like they had one target to DJ Moore. They had, I think, 2 designed runs for Justin Fields. It's like they started off this year the same way they started off last year and just forgot how dynamic their offense became when they started running. It doesn't make any sense.
It's just like, don't hedge. I'd rather see you try one methodology and just totally flame out, but at least you committed. Just commit to it and just do it.
And good coaching is playing to your players' strengths, not trying to say, "Hey, Justin Fields, you're going to be a drop back passer." Like that's not what he's good at. You're not going to run a spread like RPO quarterback run offense with Tom Brady. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just dumb.
Be Lamar Jr. Just do it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So I ended up going with Justin Fields over 58.5 rushing yards. It's at -115 at both DraftKings and BetMGM. This is more so is more so like I hope that the Bears are smart enough to run Justin Fields more, because the Bucks defense is legit. They're good.
Yeah,
they have talent at all 3 levels. So they're not going to have success drop back passing. They're not going to have success running to their running backs. And they're going to have to be creative.
Yeah, and that defense, I mean, it's not like Baker Mayfield's like the worst. I mean, he's not amazing, but it's just, you have that solid D. All he has to do is be mistake free, and that's why I'd probably just lean towards them barely. But it's an ugly endeavor. I
think if you made me choose a play, I think I'll take the Bucks, because Baker Mayfield is really bad against pressure and good defenses, but the Bears aren't going to they're not the Bears team that we saw 5 years ago.
We got rid of everyone. We gave away Roquan. I mean, good Lord. We
Khalil
sold
Mack.
the farm. Yeah.
Yep. So I would agree, if I had to choose a line on the spread, I would go with the Bucks, but I'm not touching it. I'm taking, like I said, Fields over rushing.
It's an ugly game.
Yeah, it's going to be gross. Yeah. Next up, Chargers Titans. This is another game I'm going to have 2 picks in: Titans money line and Derrick Henry touchdown. Titans money line best offered at +133 at Sport Trade, or for those of you that aren't in Colorado or New Jersey, it's +126 at FanDuel. The Henry touchdown, I got it at even money at +100. It's now best.
Kidding me? Oh my God.
It's now best offered at -120. Yeah. I don't necessarily know if I would take it at that number. Maybe use it as like a parlay piece. But I'm just out on the Chargers. I saw one game of the Chargers to know that it's the same old Chargers. They're not any different. They get punked by teams that play physical, and the Titans are like the pinnacle of physical football. They're going to run it a million times. I don't trust that the Chargers are going to be able to withstand that physically. That's why I love the Derrick Henry touchdown. They think they almost go hand in hand together. So yeah, give me the Titans. Give me Derrick Henry to score.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I kind of lean. I'm not betting on the spread or money line, but I lean Titans on this. So I have 2 plays. I wasn't as smart as you, but I also did, even though it's juiced, I got it at the standard -120, and it's not much value, but I don't see what else they're going to do. It's just a matter of, will he cross the goal line or not. I think they're going to. So I did go Henry, and I know that's boring. And then the other one, because I know this will happen, and I know it's kind of a douchey square, quote unquote square play, but I parlayed, Justin Herbert, 250 passing yards because they're just going to pass. And Derrick Henry 60 measly rushing yards, and basically came out right around to even money at the time when I played it. So I don't see how they're going to run on the Titans. And in the second half, they're just basically going to say F this, and they're just going to pass a million times. And just by aggregate, he'll get the 250. And Derrick Henry's going to run. So unless he gets injured, he's going to get 60 yards. So it's a nice little layup intra game SGP 2-leg to just get you even money. So sure. Herbert 250 passing and Henry 60 rushing yards. So a simple one. So
yeah. I like it. Without Eckler, they're not going to run as much. The Titans have a good running defense. I think that's good. So that's it with the 1 p.m. slate. Now we're getting to the 4 p.m. games, and these are all terrible. All 4 of these games are pretty bad. The first one, Giants, Cardinals. What do you have in this electric game between the Giants and the Cardinals?
Giants and Cardinals. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just going to go with the Giants here, just because. I don't know that you can start more brutally than they did. So I'm just
You're not wrong.
I don't know that you can. So I think that they're going to get their crap together. I mean, they have a good coaching staff. So yeah, I don't like that it's over key numbers, but I would roll Giants -4. So that is my pick for that game. I know that it's in Arizona. I have no faith in anything related to Arizona. And I don't care that maybe they're more decent than people were giving credit for. So I'm just going to roll with the Giants there. And then in terms of, props, let me pull this up real quick. I already had it here. Player touchdowns. I did some boring stuff again. I am just going to go with, I'm going to go with Daniel Jones to rush one in. I think he wants to make up for last game. So it's a little bit juicy. So you can get it at +210 at Barstool. So I went with him. I'm hoping that he gets a cheap one for us. And then what was the other one I had? I'll have to get back to you while you talk.
Sure. I also have the Giants -4 for pretty much the same reason you did. I don't care that the Cardinals looked not as pitiful last week. Their offense couldn't do anything, and they scored a defensive touchdown. Yeah. And as bad as the Giants looked last week, I think Sam Howell is probably worse. So it is kind of funny that the Giants lost 40-0 last week. They're on the road and they're 4-point favorites. That just tells you how low the markets are on the Cardinals, and rightfully so. I like Saquon to score. I don't like it for minus money. It's because I don't necessarily think it's worth it there. But again, if you want some sort of parlay piece like Giants money line and Saquon touchdown, I don't think it's terrible. I'm not officially betting that. That's just kind of what we're just talking through that. Someone asked earlier, what are your thoughts on Seattle versus Detroit? I think just to answer that real quick, we're on opposite sides. I'm on Seattle, you're on Detroit, but we're both on Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown. So if you want to ride something with both of us, you can go ahead and get Jahmyr Gibbs. And then the people asking about the Rams 49ers, that is actually the next game that we're going to talk about. So do you have anything left on the Giants Cardinals, or are you good to move on?
Yeah, no, it was just a boring one. I only picked boring picks, so it was Saquon. So I had Saquon, and then my juicier one was Daniel Jones, just to either jump over the heap of people or just sneak one in to the side. So Daniel Jones, but both were pretty small. I mean, I only put $20 on each one. So
gotcha, cool. All right, we got Rams, 49ers versus Rams. I took the Rams +7.5. It's at -115 at Caesars. I know that the 49ers looked incredible in week 1, but I think the Rams also looked incredible in week 1. And I think that it's possible that the Rams are just simply good and that last year was an outlier. I know that the Rams talent is significantly different than what it's been because they haven't had a first round pick in 7 years. But it's they've always been well coached under Sean McVay. Last year, what really killed them was their offensive line injuries, and it just ended up being the season from hell. You can't necessarily, I think there's a bigger sample size that they're just good and that Matt Stafford's good and that Sean McVay is good. So I like for them to keep it close. I know, again, the 49ers looked amazing, but it's a divisional game. I think if I remember correctly, McVay has always kind of had Shanahan's number, or maybe I'm just thinking of the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. So I don't necessarily think that the 49ers are quite on upset alert. Like I don't have the Rams as one of my upset picks, but I do like them to cover the 7.5 points, especially that key number. If you're not getting it at 7.5, then I wouldn't touch it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm on the opposite side, so I would lean
Okay.
to the 49ers, and then for my touchdown pick, for whatever reason, I like the tight ends here to score in the red zone, so I actually am sprinkling a little bit on Kittle and then Higbee, actually, which I know it's a little bit of a pretty big plus money play where you can get Higbee right now. Where is he at now? Where is it moved to? It's let's see. Gosh, what is it on my chart here? You can get him still even at plus 375 on my hated sportsbook PointsBet if you want that.
PointsBet.
So it's pretty high there. But otherwise, you can get him at plus 360 for the more mainstream FanDuel book, basically. So just a tiny sprinkle there. And then on Kittle as well, he's at plus 225 on PointsBet, unfortunately, which I don't like. I don't like their book, but plus 220 on FanDuel. So just going tight ends here, hoping because it's a grind of a game, big bodied guys underneath with lockdown on the outside. So I'm going tight ends on both sides. So
sure. Yeah. The Higbee one I like without Cooper Kupp. Maybe all the targets don't go to Puka Nacua.
I think everyone's so much on Puka. That's the only reason I went Oppo. Like everyone is so high on him right now that I want to go elsewhere, and everyone else is kind of getting juiced up a little bit because he's getting smashed down. So I want to find some value outside of the popular trend right now. So
sure. All right, next game, Jets versus Cowboys. No Aaron Rodgers. What do you got?
I just think that. Look, I'm not even a huge Cowboys fan, but I have very little faith in Zach Wilson. I really do. I mean, Dallas, I don't like that the number is so high. So I actually would I think what, I would do, even though I'm very high on the Bills already, and they're one of my max bets, I just don't see the Bills losing today. I just do not see them losing. So I'm going to toss in the Bills in a teaser with Dallas basically and tease it down. And I'm just going to go, with Dallas and a Bills teaser just to get close to even money. Basically, the defense for the Jets worries me. They're legit and elite. I have zero faith in Zach Wilson, none whatsoever. So I just think that's where they're going to falter. And I think Dallas showed you that at least offensively, they're here to play. It's going to be a grind against a very tough defense, but it's really the Zach Wilson factor. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback at all. I'm not going to lie. So I just have no faith in him. So I think whatever you can do to either tease it down, put it in some kind of parlay with a tease down like minus 5.5, minus whatever, even if you want to really juice it down to like -3, I don't know what you'd find with that to parlay it with.
Yeah.
But I'd say somewhere in that range, the minus 5.5-ish range, I'll take the Dallas Cowboys there. I mean, and I think it could be a pretty ugly game, but I just don't think Zach Wilson can pull this out of his butt, man, to get them to a victory. So
sure. Yeah. The Cowboys were my survivor pick. But I like the Jets +9. It's at -110 odds at Barstool. I get it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you anything differently than what you said about Zach Wilson. I just think that Jets defense is too good for this game to be a complete blowout. And I also think that Dak is just as likely as Josh Allen to have a 4 turnover game. Like all Josh Allen needed to do was not lose the game, and he was incapable of doing that. And how many times did we say that about Dak Prescott last year when he led the league in interceptions despite missing 5 games?
True.
Especially in the playoffs where if he threw 2 interceptions, if he didn't do that, the Cowboys probably beat the 49ers. So I like the Jets to keep this one close. They're probably not going to let Zach Wilson do anything. So I think this is going to be just to grind it out. Both teams run the ball a ton, especially the Cowboys. Like I think they know that the only way they lose this game is if Dak loses it for them. So they're probably going to run it. It's going to be low scoring. I don't think it's ever going to be a game that's in doubt that the Cowboys are winning, but I think it's going to consistently be like a 4 to 7 point game type thing. So I'll take the Jets to cover. They're one of my favorite spread picks. I wouldn't touch their money line. Again, the Cowboys are my survivor pick. This is more so just a faith play on how good that Jets defense is.
What are your thoughts? I was staring at this. What do you think about Breece Hall to score?
I like it. I mean, he looked amazing last week against the Bills. He was so electric, and he didn't really look like he was hurt at all. I just worry about it's plus 320 at DraftKings is pretty good.
That's the only reason I'm looking at
It's
it. I mean,
pretty good. I mean,
when they're close, they're going to stack the box insanely, right? Because they know Zach sucks.
Yeah.
And they're going to just totally stack the box. That's my one concern. But you're right. I mean, he looked better than I thought, and that was my only reason I was kind of nervous about him last week. But like health wise, he looked pretty.
He looks great. He looks
explosive.
Yeah.
But so I'm sitting here looking at a plus 320 on DraftKings. I'm like, is that stupid to not take? Or I don't know. You know what? Screw it. Audible right now. Official play. Breece Hall plus 320. I'm doing it. Fuck it.
I like it.
All right.
Top Boy Media. Remember, Dak is ass too.
Remember. Oh yeah. I never said he wasn't. I just think we'll think the other guy's a little more. But
he's a little more ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little more.
All right.
No, I mean, if you had to tell me who you think, like if you said you have to take one anytime touchdown pick in this game, I probably would take Breece Hall, especially for that value.
Plus 310. Am I missing something? There's nothing wrong with him, right? He's playing. I mean,
you're missing the Zach Wilson against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes. Well, no. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm oppo of him. But But God, that's high. That's high.
It's high. It is
for a stud like Breece. So I got it. So I'm putting it in right now, guys. $25 on the.
I like it. All right. Last game of the 4 p.m. slate: Commanders versus Broncos. Another game that is just grotesque. Super low over under. I think it's in the 30s, which is terrible. I am taking Javonte Williams to score. It's plus 155 at Caesars. This game is going to be disgusting. I don't trust either quarterback. I don't trust either pass catching option. Javonte, similar to Breece Hall, I thought looked good despite coming off of the injury. And I think that again, it's a home game for the Broncos. They know that that Russell Wilson, the other Wilson, is very capable of losing games for them. So they're just going to feed Javonte. They're going to feed the other guy, Samaje Perine. But Javonte's better. He got more of the work last week. So in lieu of taking any total, any spread, give me Javonte to score, and I'm done with it.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I didn't even bother. I find this to be another one of the gross games. And when, Russell Wilson couldn't even get me, even where I found a line. I remember last week, I was just like, God, I'm going to regret this. And I did regret it. I found a line discrepancy, and it was like an 11-yard discount of his passing yards. And even with an 11-yard effing discount, he didn't even get close to it.
He's terrible. He's
terrible. He's just forget it. I could even with it. A book is teasing you with a huge discrepant line. He couldn't even get close to his passing yards.
Yeah.
And then, with Dulcich on the IR and stuff, and I don't know what his health is going to be. So it's like, F it. I just stayed away. I like I like the only thing I think I like is you saying Javonte. So I have nothing else to add. I really don't. There's just, I learned my lesson from last week. There was a lot of bad product out there. This is another bad product game. I'm sorry to be a downer. It really is garbage. And sometimes you're better off as a sports bettor to say, I'm not going to bet on this dumpster fire. So
live to bet another day. I think that's fair.
Pretty much.
All right. Our next game, Dolphins versus Patriots, Sunday Night Football. This one's actually going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be a good game. So what do you got for this one?
I'm going Dolphins, man. I mean, Tua, and yes, I mean, look, could it be a one-game thing? But it's really, I don't think people question, Tua's ability to sling the rock or his footwork or his skills. It's just, can he stay healthy and not be concussed all season, right? And so, damn, I mean, talk about slinging the rock. I mean, that was just like video game mode last week. And yes, it is the Patriots, and the Patriots are at home. It's just, I mean, if you're going to give me minus 2.5 on the Dolphins, like it's more about like, will it be a grind of a game? But there's no way you can keep up with that kind of offensive output. And I just think by sheer willpower and volume, like the Dolphins are going to find a way to score at some point. And the Dolphins can win grinds of games. We've seen that last year. So yeah, these afternoon games are brutal. I know. That's why I'm kind of, you saw my theme. Even when I had high confidence last week, I didn't do great on spreads. This week, I'm even less confident minus a few of the games like the Bills game or something. But so I'm going to go Dolphins spread here. I'm going to go minus 2.5. What do you think about the spread before we get into some props?
Yeah. So I'm actually going oppo on you.
Okay. All right.
You on this one as well. I have 2 picks in this one. Patriots money line was my last upset pick of the day. And Ramondre Stevenson anytime touchdown was my favorite anytime touchdown pick in this game. Yeah. Both of those are plus 130, so the odds are pretty good. Which what I think is kind of funny is that Tua is 4-0 against the Patriots in his career. Here are his stats in those 4 games. Game number 1, 145 yards passing, 1 interception. Dolphins still win. Next game, 202 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Dolphins win. The next game, he was 15 for 22 for 109 yards for 1 touchdown. Dolphins win. The one good game he played was last year. It was week 1, 23 of 33, 270 yards and 1 touchdown. Dolphins win that game 20-7. They got 1 touchdown was from a fumble return, and they only scored 1 offensive touchdown. So despite the fact that Tua is undefeated against the Patriots, he's not actually that impressive. And yes, he was amazing last week. I think that's more of a Chargers thing than anything. I thought that the Patriots defense looked really good last week against the Eagles. The Eagles had a defensive touchdown, had another field goal that came off of a Patriots fumble. Like, I think the Patriots probably looked better in that game than the Eagles did last week. I thought Mac Jones looked pretty good. Like, they attacked the Eagles middle of the defense pretty well. Hunter Henry had a good game. Kendrick Bourne had a good game. It's the second Patriots home game in a row, the second time they're an underdog in a row. And I trust Bill Belichick to have a good defensive game plan. I don't think Tua is going to have a good game. I think this is going to be like a very different game for Tua than it was last week. And Ramondre Stevenson was horrible against the Eagles last week. That's more of a product of the Eagles rushing defense than anything. The Dolphins had literally the worst rushing defensive performance last week, according to DVOA, which it's only 1 week. So like the advanced stats are always kind of wonky 1 week into it, but they got carved up by Austin Eckler, and Austin Eckler is good. I also think Ramondre Stevenson's good, and plus 130 for him to score, I think is pretty good value. So long story short, I'm on the Patriots and I'm on Ramondre Stevenson to score.
Nice. No, I like the Stevenson thing. And for me, for my touchdown score, and again, narratives have no meaning on stats and games, but I'm a sucker for narratives. And look, they interviewed Mike Gesicki, and they're like, "Hey, you looking for revenge this game?" And they said, "No, I'm excited about every game," which means yes, he is interested in revenge. I'm just
I forgot about that angle about the Mike Gesicki.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, man, I mean, he had a few targets last week. Was it three receptions, something like that? So he was even used even in a clunky, offense last week. So they got another week, under their belts to dissect a few things. Nothing else, just the fun narrative of can he score, just to have a little fun with his old buddies. But you get a little juice at plus 500. Oh, plus 500. Good God.
Plus 500,
So $20 on the plus 500 play for Gesicki against his former team. Because why not? Let's make it fun. Sometimes we don't want to do stats and DVOA, and it's just, how about he gets a TD against his old team? How about that?
There you go. How about that? I like it. All right, that officially ends our picks for each game. Now what we're going to do is our DGen parlay. Based on, I was kind of thinking about it, based on stuff that we both seemed to like. We both had Bijan to score, so let's add him.
Yeah, he came through last time.
Yep. We both liked Jahmyr Gibbs to score. We both separately had him, so let's go ahead and add him as our anytime touchdown pick. I think my anytime touchdowns, I had Derrick Henry, we both had Henry as well. Okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So we can add Derrick Henry.
He can't go twice without scoring, right? He didn't score last week, right? So
no, he didn't.
Yeah.
So that's why already
he's due. He's due.
He's due. I mean, what every sports bettor loves to hear is when someone says someone's due.
He's due.
All right. So that immediately brings the odds to plus 794.
Really?
Do we add another one?
For those juicy, wow, really?
Yeah.
For 3 stud, wow, that's already pretty good.
So the only other one that we both liked was Saquon Barkley. If we want to add him, that brings it up to plus 1,600 for all 4 of them.
Oh God, do we trust Saquon? Do we trust Saquads?
So do we go a little bit bolder? Last week we got 2 of 3 to cash. We were so close to getting our last one. Do we go 3 again, or do we go for broke? Do we do the plus 1,600? What do you think?
Man, I hate to say it just because of the Giants' ineptitude. let's just do this. Man, we're almost already at 1,000 with 3 like gimmies. Like just it's almost like it's a JDYD parlay. Just do your damn job parlay.
That's true.
Just these 3 studs to get us almost an 800. Let's do the 3, man. Let's do the
All right.
3. Usually I'm the idiot that tells you add 3 more, right? But that's not bad for those 3.
Not bad.
That's not bad at all.
All right.
Not bad at all. Let's do it.
So here's what we're going to do. Official parlay is going to be Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry to score. I put it in on FanDuel because they're the one that lets me do the most without getting limited. Sure. Those 3, it was plus 793 at FanDuel. You might be able to get it somewhere better elsewhere. That's going to be our official parlay. But for those of you that have stuck around until the very end, we appreciate you. We mentioned this at the beginning and on Twitter. What we're going to do, Andrew is going to give away 3 of his sports cards. For those of you that stuck around, all you need to do, send me a DM with the phrase "sweat the bet," which is a callback to our podcast we did last year, and a slip of the parlay that you were riding with us. It doesn't need to hit. All you need to do is just send me a DM with the phrase "sweat the bet" and a screenshot of you riding with our Anytime Touchdown parlay. If you do that, you will be entered. And then from there, we will choose 1 lucky winner to be given 3 sports cards that Andrew can detail again right now.
Yeah, we got the Josh Allen class president from Zenith. I'll send you it in the one touch as well. Christian McCaffrey, Z Stars from Zenith as well. And a throwback Michael Jordan CGC graded slab of kind of a snapshot of the Chicago Tribune cover when they won their first championship. I packaged these safely with protectors. I'll get it shipped out to you with free shipping. So you just have to enter the giveaway. Someone's going to win it. Again, this is not whether our parlay hits. Someone's going to win today. So just DM Matt on his handle, and then he'll let me know your address and everything, and we'll get it shipped out to you this week. So, and then finally, guys, I'm such a degenerate. I'm going to give you one last one at plus 20,000 odds.
Plus 20,000. Let's go.
Yeah, so
all right.
$2, right? Just put a couple bucks at $2. Yeah. $1, $2. All right.
Let's hear it.
Every one of our listeners today agreed, and you and I agreed. This is an unusual day where we passed on a lot of things or just said lean, and we're not even betting on it. Because what did this afternoon slate say? Ugly. It was. Okay?
Where is it? There you go. Effing ugly.
Brutal. Exactly. So you know what ugly means, guys? There's going to be no TDs, right? And there's going to be either blanks, maybe even, or some field goals. So I'm going to give this out to you guys right now. Each team in the 1 p.m. and the afternoon non-Sunday night games, every team in every game minus Sunday night football has to get 1 field goal each.
1 field goal each.
Plus 20,000. I bet on stupider things at worse odds than that. Okay. Plus 20,000. The danger is going to be the lopsided games where one team dominates the other and never even goes for a field goal. Okay. But there's enough brutal games this afternoon. This is one of the few times I actually think there is a chance that you can get this to hit. Maybe. I know it's almost impossible, and that's why it's at those odds. But you know what? Today is so ugly, and we saw how ugly last week was. Maybe there's a shot in hell we can get a plus 20,000 to hit for a couple bucks.
So where do you find that on FanDuel?
FanDuel weekly specials under Red Zone specials, and then click that down arrow that says see all and scroll all the way down because it's all the way at the bottom. Because no one wants to bet this.
That's why I couldn't find it.
Because you will lose those couple bucks. So I'm warning all of you, right? Who wins a plus 20,000? Nobody. All right.
1 field goal each.
Put like $2, $1, $2, right?
That's what I did.
Let's just root for. Even in the midst of ugliness, I found you something to cheer for. You can cheer for something today, even in the brutal games. Just kick a damn field goal is what you're going to be screaming today. So let's have fun, responsible fun, couple bucks, plus 20,000, guys. Let's go.
I love it. I thought you were going to do one of your tight end parlays, like a must.
No. We're just plus 20,000, guys. Imagine if we could land this. So.
That would be amazing. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, DM me, sweat the bet, DM me a slip of the parlay that you rode with us. Other than that, remember to follow the both of us on Twitter. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already. And then if you want to check out, check out Andrew's eBay store. I posted a link to it in the description of this video. So go ahead and check that out if you're actually interested in anything. Appreciate everybody for watching, and we will see you next Sunday.
Take it easy, guys.